Alright, we find ourselves on Gretsvin this time. Spawning in the bottom right hand side with the blue Zerg pieces, it is Grets. On the other side of the map with the purple Terran pieces, it is JEROS. Surprisingly enough, we're not going to see any shenanigans out of the Terran player. Fairly standard opening out of both of our players. I gotta say, I have not played on these I haven't played much on these new maps recently. Been kind of taking a small break from the ladder myself. But I gotta say, these maps do look rather fascinating. Just from an aesthetic point of view. Well, let's say that. I was trying to pick out some interesting things to point out. It's just the only thing that's coming to mind is just like, oh, they're pretty. JEROS going for a fairly standard expand, Reaper expand. Scouting SCV, moving across. Not really going to see anything particularly egregious from our Zerg player here. Reaper is going to be coming out here. It'll be interesting to see. I imagine JEROS is probably going to be going for 3cc Banshee. Very, very common strategy out of Terran players recently for going into macro games. Very typical dance of the Reaper here. Third CC is on the way. Fairly standard setup for our Terran player. It's coming about the time where the Terran player should be just looking a little bit, well, tries to get the creep tumor. Unfortunately, is not going to be able to stimmy the spread of creep. Doesn't really get too much scouting information here at the 3.5 minute mark. But then again, our Zerg player is really just kind of focusing on economy. Still kind of puts you on edge as a Terran player. Yep. Going to immediately send out the first 2 Hellions to try and get a little bit more information, just to make sure that just to keep the Zerg player honest. Oh, we're actually going for a Viking first. Hellion's trying to poke up the ramp, but the Queen is going to be able to hold it. Actually, really nice vision here out of Grets. Overlord at the top attack path is going to be able to spot him. And he's going to be able to move his Queens around and really keep JEROS from doing anything too crazy. Viking is now out. It's going to take out an Overlord. He's actually going straight for Stim, and I believe Grets saw that. I'm pretty sure Grets saw that. Viking is moving out to patrol. Maybe grab a couple of Overlords if he can. More barracks on the way. Looks like we're going to be going into tank production here fairly soon. Hellion's still continuing to poke around. Fairly standard mid-game approach out of both of our players. Nothing too crazy or out of the ordinary. Now, I'm not sure if JEROS plans to continue using these Hellions, turn this into a Hellbat push or not. Actually, did we have anything else produced out of the starport? Or is it just the Viking? It's just the Viking. Looks like he just wants to deny a little bit of Overlord vision is all. Oops, gonna see that there's a Spore Crawler here. And you should also be able to... Well, never mind. I was gonna say you'd be able to see that there's a lair in a Baneling nest, but... that Viking pilot saw that Spore Crawler, just like, nope. That is so far outside of my job description that I'm not even going to tell you that I can't do that. I'm going to give you a single alert that I'm under attack, and I'm going to leave. And then immediately die to Queens. See, typically, my Viking pilots are cowards because I demand that they be cowards. They stay in, like, the middle of the map, and that's about it. You can decide for yourself whether it's because I'm bad at the game or... I care about the lives of my Viking pilots, alright? Hellions continuing to poke around here a little bit. Creep spread is actually pretty great out of Grets. He's not shouldn't be caught too unawares. That being said, we do have a large swarm of Zerglings in the production queue. We're actually very short on drones for the Zerg player. Mostly just producing Zerglings. A couple of drones here and there. We do have a big push coming out of the Terran player. Now, I'm not sure if the Terran player... Oh, where's that scan? He's actually going to take the long way around. Try and hit this other location. Not sure if Grets is aware of the scan. He doesn't seem to be moving his queens into position to deal with it. Oh, actually, JEROS is just going to go home. Did he notice... Did he notice that the Zerg was on kind of a low drone count? JEROS must know, because he is really locking down right now. He is, for the most part, he's going to try and push out here with a handful of Marines and medevacs, but most of his firepower is actually staying home. It's actually a fantastic call from our Terran player right now. And switching into Widow Mines too. That being said, this +1/+1 push is ready to go. He's going to try and get in here and do some damage. Take out a couple of active creep tumors. Was something going on there, but I'm not sure what. Now he does see the edge of the... Oh, a full surround. Banelings did manage to connect, but not that many Marines actually went down. It gave JEROS a little bit of scouting information as well. Grets going into a Hydralisk Den, +1/+1 melee. Oh, and is now droning up like crazy. I think at this point, Grets also knows that the Terran player is feeling a little bit cautious and it's probably feels safe to go ahead and drone up. This is so many Zerglings, man. Rest of the force is going to try and join up here. Now JEROS is feeling comfortable, but large swath of Zerglings is going to be coming in from the north, trying to hide behind the smoke towers, but just not really going to be able to make good connections. Really nice siege tank positions there. It's a lot of Zerg to try and contend with. JEROS is kind of trying to play this a little bit cautiously. Ooh. Takes a couple of Bane hits. Actually triggers one of the Widow Mines. A lot of Queens here to be able to defend, but these siege tanks are going to be able to shell away at them. JEROS going in for it again. I think Grets is actually slowing this down just enough to get another swarm of Zerglings out onto the field to be able to contend with this. That being said, +2/+2 is almost done for the Terran player. He's going to try and dive on that producing hatchery. Actually has a pretty good setup here. It's going to be really difficult for the Zerg player to bust this. A couple of Widow Mines do go off. Baneling does connect, but it looks like the Zerglings are just kind of streaming in one by one and not able to make the decent connections that they need. Siege tank continuing to shell away at this, and the Queens are going to be caught off a creep. Grets isn't quite able to deal with this nasty siege tank position. He keeps trying to engage into it, but the siege tanks are just able to shell away at this. There's not enough creep to really be able to get this the Hydralisk and the Queens to move into position. JEROS reinforcing with another handful of Marines and Widow Mines. I think Grets really just needs to kind of sit back a little bit more, but he keeps trying to engage into this. Oh, these are going to be some nasty Widow Mine hits. Ooh, really good connections there from the Terran player. Grets is actually like macroing like crazy. He's already up to 5 bases, it looks like. Grets going to be able to clear out some of these Widow Mines. This is such a sick tank position, my god. Grets continue to try and hold this base, but it looks like JEROS might have just enough. +2/+2 did just kick in. And he's just kind of picking Grets apart here. The queens aren't as easy to reproduce as maybe some of the Zerglings. Almost, still just kind of unable to break this. Meanwhile, JEROS is really powering up here. We already have 2 more factories in the production queue that just finished up. Tank production is going to be absolutely wild. We do have 2 Liberators that are joining now, and it's going to make it even more difficult for Grets to break this. I don't know if Grets can really... Oh, might catch the siege tanks out of position? No, this is actually just incredibly difficult for Grets to break. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. And it looks like JEROS is actually going to break this position. More units are coming out for JEROS. The Hydralisks are going to have to back up, and it looks like this base is going to be forfeit for our Zerg player. More Hydralisks are in the queue now, but I don't think that's what's going to be able to break this, really. Sieging units are going to be moving up with the Terran player. Space is completely forfeit, and now the Zerg player is going to be down a base versus a Terran player. That's never where you want to be as a Zerg player. Also, I'd like to point out that JEROS currently is up to 89 workers. This is some real TY energy right now. JEROS, this is just... It's a slow and deadly push that JEROS is doing right now, and I believe he's just parade pushing at this point. All the Hydralisks are going to be cleared up. GG's going to be called. Wow. Really well done there by JEROS. Very slow, methodical push. Having the siege units set up in just the right spots. And macroing like a beast behind it, too. I think at the end of that game, he was up to like 8 command centers or something. JEROS knows how to... JEROS is a macro man. Alright, let's hop into game number 2 between these 2 players. Excited to see what they come up to in this next set. Alright, here we are on Babylon. In the top left-hand side, up 1 game. And now with the red Terran pieces, repping the Dominion and hot-headed gaming. It is JEROS. Spawning in the bottom right-hand side, we have the blue Zerg player, Grets. For those of you who don't know, whenever I, for some of my personal streams, I have an in joke about how I'm the Emperor of the Dominion. Just kind of a bad guy overall. It makes me happy to see that the Dominion colors are being represented once again. Fly your flags and battle cruisers high. Or something, I don't know. Standard opening out of both players once again. And nothing too fancy out of both players. Just respecting each other. Actually, you know, I kind of dislike whenever I do kind of dislike whenever casters say that they're like the players are giving each other a modicum of respect by playing a macro game. I feel like that's not 100% true, to be honest with you. Like think about players who are typically aggressive. Like think about Haas. Like Haas used to do a lot of cheesing, but I never thought it was out of disrespect. I don't know, maybe it's just something I'm kind of missing here. I feel like you can be respectful and cheese a person. If anything, whenever I play practice games versus my friends, I'm incredibly disrespectful as a macro player. Reaper's going to poke in. Not going to see anything too out of the ordinary. Grets really likes the 6-ling opening versus the 4-ling opening. Definitely gives it a bigger health pool of Zerglings that the Reaper would have to try and chew through. Goodness, he's going to lose that. No, he doesn't. Backs up. And the Reaper lives to fight another day. Queen's going to be able to place down some creep without too much trouble. I doubt the Reaper's actually going to be able to pop up the ramp and take out the creep tumor. So it looks like JEROS is just going to try and just poke around with it a little bit. Maybe try and save it for some later scouting. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, you know, kind of a fairly standard opening once again. We're going into the standard fast 3rd CC. Be interesting to see if he tries to go Banshees this game or not. Meanwhile, Grets is expanding the influence of the Zerg. Creep tumors are moving out. I mean, this Reaper does kind of feel like a child, just like, you can't catch me. Starport is finishing up. And are we going to see the swap off? No. Going into Liberator this time. Going to try and poke away at some of these mineral lines when possible. Hellions join up with the Reapers. Going to be able to get JEROS a little bit more scouting information, poking onto the other side. Grets, again, has rather pretty good information about where the Terran player is, so should not be caught unawares. Starting off with Stim again. I guess it's not too shocking since you're not using the tech lab for Banshees. More Zerglings are in the queue now. That just seems like a fairly standard number for being able to deal with the Hellions here. Queen's feeling a bit brave, going to chase off of creep. More Zerglings on the way now for our Zerg player. I think he does... Yeah, he does see that. Alright, cars are trying to get in. See what kind of damage or information that they can get. Not really going to be able to get too much done, though. Oh my god, how long has the Liberator been here? Mining time is going to be delayed, but the Liberator is going to be taken out. JEROS also trying to push into the other side while Grets is preoccupied with that. And it looks like these Hellions really aren't going to get too much done, but then again, they don't really need to get that much done. They can be just as effective with the follow-up push from the Terran player. Now, once again, Grets is not focusing too much on economy right now, preferring just to get out more Zerglings. It does kind of feel like he's being very cautious with JEROS right now. Maybe even a little bit too cautious. Ooh, actually really sick denial on the creep there. JEROS again powering up. +1/+1 on the way. Looks like the Hellions... Ooh. And the Hellions are going to be able to get away, it seems like. Keeping them close to the base, though, just to try and... just glean whatever information they can. Grets running hard now. This is actually a really smart idea. He's attacking the rocks to hit the creep tumors there. Unfortunately, one of them is going to get away. Taking out some more creep. The Queens are completely out of position, so they're not going to be able to really contest this. Fourth base is going to be left creepless, at least for a little while. Alright, JEROS' push is actually finished and ready to go. Now, +1/+1 hasn't finished yet. It's only about halfway done, so this isn't going to be quite as effective. The armory's also not done, so these Hellions will not be able to soak any damage. But then again, there really aren't any Banelings that need to be soaked. Also, Grets going for +1 missile. Interesting. Siege tanks in good positions. This is a lot of queens. Big surround, or not surround, but... Oh, actually, it looks like Grets is going to be able to clean this up. Fortunately, the tank position wasn't quite as good this time. They were a little bit exposed on the ramp there. Queens are going to be able to clean up most of this, or at the very least, cause it to retreat. But, oh, wow. Grets actually able to clean this up. Oh, I thought for sure the Queens were going to clean that up. Another stem, and it looks like he's going to be jumping on top of the Queens again. Really nice target fire. Shredding these Queens. 30 more Zerglings will be on the way, but it looks like they're kind of just, they're kind of trickling in and makes it difficult for them to actually get that much damage done. Yeah, once again, JEROS is parade pushing across the map. Fourth base is going to be on the way. 2 Liberators. He is just cranking out units right now. Very impressive to see. Grets on the defense. Looks like another Queen will be taken out. Pretty big surround here by the Zerglings, but I don't know if they're actually going to be able to clean this up. Man, +1/+1 Marines at this stage just shred. GG is going to be called. That is a very difficult to hold that without Banelings. But Grets did his best. I thought for sure that those Queens would be able to hold, but I think JEROS' target firing was just too good. I think he was sniping high energy Queens there.